Okay folks, we haven't done one of these for a little while. Let's see if we can make this one turn up a treat. Okay, let's see what this is. It is a sticker. It's a sticker found on a wall. I don't know if it was on a wall or a pole. I've forgotten where I found it. It was a while back. I've had this sticker for a while, actually. I don't know how long I've had it, where I got it from. Anyway, that's come up looking quite a treat, actually. I do think we could work with that. Maybe we could keep that picture there as well as, but we have to enlarge it off. So end up maybe having to cut down there. Some of it's got to come off, unfortunately. I don't know. Trying to think how we're going to make it work. This is a tricky one, folks. I do want to keep that, but I don't want that there. That's a tricky bit. That's a real confusing bit. Okay, we're going to make this. Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm just going to discard that after I rip it off and recycle the paper. So we're interested in this. So wondering where we're going to cut this off. Tricky one, folks, tricky one. It's annoying where you have to have compromise. You can't miss it. You have to compromise, work out what the compromise is and whether it's worth it. Let's see how we go. Anyway, that's come up looking quite interesting. I do think we might have to lift it up to get rid of that piece there. It just distracts. But it looks quite nice, even though we've lost all that activity. Yeah, now we've made it too high. We've got this at the bottom, but at least we know just how far to go with the enlargement. I actually see I could probably cut out a section out of that to make it look more interesting and a nicer piece. So I'm just going to change that. I'm just going to pull up and work it out. So we're going to enlarge it maybe to here. Going to put that in the corner, right up in the corner, just roughly. I don't know how big we're going to make it. So we're going to change the enlargement heaps. I'm starting at 300 by 300 and see what we get. And then we will work from there, folks. Yeah, that looks really quite interesting, actually. Trying to think how far. Got to move it up a bit. And maybe move it across. Up and across. If I'm correct, hopefully I'm correct. Move it just a little bit up and across. See what we get at 300 by 300. Yeah, that looks really interesting, but I think we've raised it up too high. We've made it up too high, and it would be nice to maybe push that down a bit, to enlarge that down, but maybe I just have to drop it a bit and maybe move it further across again. So we're just going to drop it a little bit and move it across. Going to drop it and move it across. So we're just going to drop it and move it across. We'll see how we go. Anyway, that's come up looking a little bit better in some ways with that, but again we've dropped it too far. It's a little bit far down. We don't want it that way, and we might have moved it across too far, so we're just going to push it back again. It's really tricky trying to get it just right, to find the sweet spot. So I'm just going to lift it a bit and then move it across a little. It's tricky, folks. It can be tricky. Just because we're using a machine doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. You have to have a certain amount of skill that you develop over time and practice, like any art. And basically, yeah, it's a shame this is a bit low because that's up high and we don't want to cut it off. I'm going to move it across a little bit further again, but I'm just going to look at previous iterations, but that looks good. I do think maybe going to move it across again. Move it across. I do think it'll look nice across, to be honest. Yeah, folks, I'm missing a lost partner. His name is Luigi, and I'm trying to get this work I'm doing on the photocopier up on the 6 o'clock news in order to find where he's gotten to, because I'm really missing him, and it really hurts to be isolated from him. And I'm just thinking this is it looks a bit too high up there. Looks a bit shit house. It's really difficult trying to get this to look good. I do think maybe the enlargement's too big. I do think. Horizontally it's too large. I'm going to keep it at that size for now because I want to get this part correct. So I'm just going to move it further across. But I really miss this person. His name is Luigi, and I'm trying to get this creative work I'm doing into the 6 o'clock time slot on the free-to-air TV. It really is difficult trying to do that, trying to get these TV channels interested. I've been working at it now for more than a decade, so it's been a real long time, and this is too big, and that's too big, but it looks like it's got potential. I do think but I really miss my partner, and I'm trying to see how this piece compares with that. We just need less enlargement, but it's going to mean that part's going to be up. Tricky, folks, tricky, very tricky. But I really miss my partner, and I really need to get in touch with him. I really need to find where he's gotten to, and I just need to work what I'm doing and try my best to present as best as I can. And it really is proving to be extremely difficult trying to get my stuff out there. I think 270 is too big, to be honest, folks. Go 240 and see how I go there. This piece has been really difficult, folks. Yeah, that looks better. That looks a lot nicer, actually. That looks much better. Better than I thought. Do wonder if maybe I could enlarge it maybe even less on the vertical to get more of this bottom stuff happening. Or maybe that could be the centre of the job for all we know. I don't know, folks, at this stage. We're going both by 190 by 190 and see how we go. This piece is going to be a prolongated demo, folks, this one. So just stay tuned as I create what I'm creating, trying to make something out of this rather difficult piece that I'm working at. It just looks good so far. It's looking good. It's looking like it's finally taking shape. Indeed, you could say Konica Minolta's slogan, giving shape to ideas, applies to this. So I'm giving shape to an idea, or maybe not quite an idea, giving shape to something, and see how we go. But yeah, I don't like the way Konica Minolta seem to echo ideas that I have for myself, like changing the way you do business, change the way you do business, which means to me I'd like to change the way the photocopier business is done, like making it into a more environmentally and humanity friendly entity instead of the shit that we have now, where everything's about the love of money and slogans and smoke and mirrors. Advertising indeed take centre stage in the photocopier industry. This is bullshit. But then everything's about money and everything's about smoke and mirrors when it comes to advertising. All these special effects and camera angles and music. and shit like that, and bloody awful shit. I have no fucking respect for the way the photocopier industry, especially companies like Konica Minolta, are run. They just run to make profit, and they just try to make people feel good about their product by this bullshit advertising crap. So yeah, maybe pull up a YouTube video on Konica Minolta commercial and see what bullshit that they have to say about the future and about the future of work and this, that, the other, and how cool it is. Not cool, but in so many words, it's just bullshit, folks. It's just shit. Take it with a grain of salt or a particle of toner, so to speak. Don't believe the bullshit. But, what can I say? It's bullshit in every... Yeah. Anyway, that's coming up looking nice. Probably not the greatest, as good as I would have liked it to have been. It's taken a long time to get this to happen. But let's see how we go putting the pieces together. Yeah, that looks really quite interesting. I think we can now finally call this demo quits.